For some brief questions, is that
Yes.
okay? Questions, points to be made?
I was sent, I'm in the co-op as well, I was sent this by the co-op, and it says the co-op supports the new DEC appeal for Yemen, and that's the Disaster Emergency Committee. And it says here that months of civil war have left 18.8 million people in urgent need of humanitarian assistance, and children die of malnutrition. Almost 500,000 infants and young children need immediate treatment for severe acute malnutrition, and basic healthcare services are collapsing. This appeal has been launched by the Disaster Emergency Committee, so I don't know if anybody wants that link that they could send funding to help the Disaster Emergency Committee. But whether they can get through the blockade, I don't know.
It's a very tricky situation because what happens is money goes to Hadi's people, and Hadi's people use it for terrorism. That is the unfortunate reality, because the Hadi's people are the people who are recognized as the legitimate. All the embassies are under their control. The Qataris, who are a main player in this, have spent $20 million, as far as I remember, about a year ago, to pay for the expenses of the embassies of the Yemen worldwide. So they are basically under their control, and embassy staff are trying to keep their jobs basically and survive, and they're not standing up to do the right thing, unfortunately. So we also know that the British government here, the Parliament, when questions were put to the Foreign Office, their spokesperson, something along the lines of Britain having paid £85 million or dollars in aid. But when I carried out the investigation, by the way, I don't belong with any particular party. I'm a southerner. I'm supposed to be technically with the separatist people and saying thank you, Salman, for killing the people of Yemen. But I'm not. I see the whole situation objectively. As I said, I'm more British than I am Yemeni, really. And that money clearly, when I carried out the investigation, and I work with lawyers, judges who are all independent from these parties, and independent journalists who give me the information I require. They carried out investigation. They told me that money like this, if it does in fact come, will go to Hadi's people. And highly likely it will be used to fund more mercenaries to come and try and capture Sana'a again. And that's what goes on. I would be very interested to see this. Thank you very much for drawing it to my attention so that I can carry out a little bit more checks on them. And if they are normal, then I can give them the right advice.
Right, Steve.
Yeah, I think if we move to really kind of what we might want to do about this, rather than I think one of the main things that we need to do is to help actually spread the word about this. And I know we've probably got fairly limited means of doing that, but we can start raising this issue. We can raise the issue within the union. We can raise the issue through our links with organisations like Middle East North Africa Solidarity and so on. And I think that we're not going to call for a demonstration particularly successfully if we do it, but I think we should take that idea and start to agitate for it. We can raise matters in our other organisations such as Trades Council and political parties we may be associated with, and so on. And I think the first thing we really need to do is to get the kind of word of this out. Before I heard our speech today, I was aware that there were horrible things going on, but it was only in the kind of the vague general horror that seems to be half the world, if you see what I mean. But the specifics of it, and the political specifics of it, and the links between British arms manufacturers, British military machinery, and so on, seems to be a specific responsibility. So can I just propose generally that we start to agitate on this matter, and that we keep in touch with Kim and her comrades about this, and anything that they ask us to do, we will do.
Thank you very much.
And any specific proposals you wish to put to us, I will then immediately put to our branch committee, to a branch meeting, should it be, and so on, and we'll try and raise the issue as much as we can. I think that's kind of really all we can do at the minute, but I think, if you keep us posted and ask us, Ask us what you want us to do at any specific time, and I will put it to people that we should do it.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you. Marilyn. And,
How about asking Kim to write half a page for the bulletin?
Okay. Yes.
But I mean, it needs to be fairly short so that people read it.
Yeah.
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 Is that
Yeah.
it?
That's a good idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just really, it's adding on. I mean, I think the thing we need to do the most about is the links between British government, British arms manufacturers, and training, and so on, with the Saudis, which is a scandal in general. I mean, it would be a scandal if there wasn't anything going on in Yemen, but which really is one of these hidden things that is almost never discussed. You know, people mutter about how nasty Saudi Arabia is, but they never bother to mention the links between the British government, British arms manufacturers, and probably, you know, if what we know about the rest of the Middle East is the case, you know, are there Saudi officers in training in Sandhurst? Are there all those things, which there almost certainly are? Plus, you know, we just heard, you know.
So what are you suggesting we do?
What I'm saying is we should make that the most important focal point of everything. And anybody who's got connections inside the Labour Party, the upper levels of the TUC, and so I mean, you know, these are things that there are Labour MPs who will ask nasty questions about that if we can get hold of them.
Get to the Labour MP.
You were saying there's no connection with the British military machine.
I don't know.
The other thing, Kim's very interesting. The other thing, I do remember, was it a month ago that sort of our Foreign Secretary, whose name escapes me, was lecturing the Saudis on their proxy war in the Yemen, and then got shot down by the Prime Minister for blurting out the truth somewhere or another. Yes.
First time.
Clearly, I think this is something that could come up at UCU Council in April, May. I think if you haven't got avenue to other branches, maybe we can think about whether we put some sort of motion, amongst other motions, to UCO Council to get discussed on the council floor.
We can, yes. We can.
London region, so it is.
Yes.
Yeah, London region, obviously,
Yeah. Okay.
With the emphasis that Richard
Yes.
just suggested.
Yeah, no, this is about, the British government selling arms to Saudi Arabia. And that's been raised already, hasn't it? By other MPs, including Jeremy Corbyn, actually.
Most of it.
Yeah, well, it was last year.
Perhaps
So, I mean, that's something that could be raised again. This is where our government is very directly responsible, actually. Arms sales to Saudi Arabia.
I think this is absolutely true, but we also need to go beyond the specific arms issue, because it begins. One of the difficulties I have with some of the, I'll simply call it the human rights establishment in Britain and internationally, is that it takes the arms issue almost in isolation from a whole set of historical political relationships. Now, Saudi Arabia is not. Supplying arms to Saudi Arabia now from Britain is not some kind of mere ethical lapse, if you like. The Saudi regime, Saudi Arabia as a monstrous entity, like Bahrain as a monstrous entity which exists, is a British colonial imperial construct. The original occupation of Mecca by the Saudi dynasty was terminated by another outfit which I would regard as a gangster clique, the Ottoman Empire. It was during the First World War that the House of Saud strategically, quite wisely but disgustingly, recognised that by cuddling up to the British imperial state they could win back this position. And it is a British colonial construct. Again, it is not a mere ethical lapse in a very precise point in time. So we're dealing with, as well as all the issues about what is happening actually and people in what is now the Yemen, we're dealing with the problem of British imperialism. And even if that sounds a big task, we're not going to get very far without recognising that, openly, explicitly.
I think the UK government or the UK people should be out of this of Yemen. But how about the role of the Arab League? Because I think that all people involved are Arabic people. Can the Arab League do something?
Just
You
like the
reconcile?
United Nations, it gets silenced with petrodollars. The Arab League is not really Arab League, it's just another little club for the Saudi regime and its cohorts in the Gulf Cooperation Council. So basically, it's all about money. They have silenced the UN, for example, a year ago, has placed the Saudi regime and its coalition on the blacklist for the disproportionate amount of civilian deaths. The Human Rights Council reported to the Security Council that 60% of the casualties on deaths of civilians in Yemen is a result of the coalition-led airstrikes. And Ban Ki-moon was forced to place them on the blacklist. And of course the Saudis made a lot of noise, and that was kind of like left to go to sleep. And the unfortunate thing is the Arab League is not an Arab League, it's just another little private club for the Saudi regime and its brutal neighboring cohorts. These people don't understand what it is to be a human. They don't. I don't think they understand what it is to be a human. They only understand to have a lot of money and have whatever they want. And I take the point David made about the construct background history. This is something that has come to light, of course, in these recent years. A lot of people have become aware of it. But it's now a liability, isn't it? Gross liability. Yeah? So it would be, how do I put it? It is very difficult to say that, I know Hitler is a bad guy, but he's my mate. Very, very difficult to say that. Yes, exactly, and that's where I am coming in as a British lawyer. It isn't looking good. Hitler's soldiers said we were under orders or instructions. That didn't stand well in Nuremberg trials. We were also the very people that drafted the UN laws. We were the people who were literally in charge of the Nuremberg trials. Now, how do we then find ourselves now befriending this regime? It isn't looking good at all. And it's not just about keeping up appearances, it's about our standing as a credible, respectable nation in the world platform. How silly do we look when we go to Iran and say, look guys, you have a very bad record in human rights. Like, hang on, you talking to me? Why don't you go and teach your friend the Saudis about human rights before you talk to me? That is the dialogue here. Basically, our diplomats have lost credibility in the international platform. They just look like a bunch of arms-selling mafia thugs. Well,
I think it's probably time that we actually just make sure we take up some of the important suggestions made about keeping in touch and keeping on, letting other people know about what's going on. So Marilyn mentioned a half-page article, presumably something that people could take to their own trades councils or other bodies might be useful. And
because we can put it in the newsletter, but we can also make it as a printable leaflet as well. Which we could put out in our name to circulate. Yeah.
that sounds particularly useful. I can't see who you're telling me. Oh, Leslie.
It was just a very quick question, I think you missed it, but I wanted to ask. I mean, in a sense, your point about British imperialism and everything else, to some extent, is often also linked to the privatisation of war way back from Bosnia and things like that, where companies have obviously gone and made lots of money. Now, when you were talking about mercenaries and things like that, I wonder whether there's any evidence also, apart from obviously the arms industries and that, of companies being involved with these mercenaries or just with a pure privatisation, and whether there's people there we could actually target or actually expose for their activities out there, because I suspect there are plenty.
yes, there were deaths, British nationals, retired officers who went to fight in fire as Blackwater Corporation and Dine Corporation mercenaries. There were Israeli nationals, US nationals, Colombians and many other nationals. So these mercenaries and the companies, of course, when you have situations like this in the world, you will always see a buzz name here. Dine Corporation, and Blackwater Company in Afghanistan, in Iraq, everywhere they're involved, in Libya, and of course they have nationalities from all over the world, and it's of course with the consent and approval of our own authorities here, without the knowledge of the people of this country or parliamentary approval. In a way, we are at war with Yemen. As a country, Britain is at war with Yemen, but using proxies, whether it is private organizations or the Saudi terrorists exporting proxies. Either way, it's a very, very dangerous escalation. I think the debacle of the Yemen is worse than the Iraqi debacle. At least Tony gave us sexed up documents. You know, that sounded quite funky. I know it's not laughing matter. I know millions died here, but you know, they're comparing, comparatively speaking. Whereas this guy at least gave you something sexed up. Now these guys aren't even giving us something sexed up, and I believe there are very serious questions to be asked. And one of the other things that people can do as citizens is write to your local MP and raise these issues. We are very concerned about our involvement in Yemen.
Which, of course, if we then produce your thing as a leaflet, as it were, well, people can then use that as the basis for a letter to go to members of Parliament. Thank you very much indeed. That I found that most informative. I hope everyone else has.
Stay in touch.
Stay in contact.
Well, certainly.
You and I.
Yes, you have my email, but I also give you my.
Okay. Thank you very much, and please don't. If there's something you want us to do, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'm sure we've a reasonable record of doing what people ask us to, so that would be, no, I'll rephrase that, a reasonable record of attempting to do what people ask us.
So something you could help us with the Human Rights for Yemen organisation. It's a charitable company limited by guarantee. We are taking proceedings against the coalition. Campaign Against Arms Trading has brought a case for selling weapons to the Saudi regime illegally. The case is going to be heard on the 6th of February, and we have requested that the Attorney General bring proceedings under the Geneva Conventions Act. He has no choice but to bring proceedings. And on this occasion, they can't interfere with the due process of law because it's a statute. And the court will not tolerate a statute being disregarded by the executive in any way. We are gathering funding for this case. Any help you can give us, we'd be most grateful. A £1 donation for me equals £1 million donation, because it's the humanity that I'm looking for. One way or the other, my own time as a lawyer is given for free on, to this case. And any help and support we can get from you, we are most grateful. Certainly I'll write this short piece. We will be in touch, Steve, and give you what we agreed upon, and give you suggestions and ideas of how we might be able to work.
Thank you very much indeed.